I'm your girl, Dr. Dangerfield.
And I am Dr. Patience.
And we are so excited. You know, it's the month of March, and as always, the month of March is International Women's Month, and we always things about women. Mm-hmm. Women. You know, that's our thing. Women empowerment, mental health, and different things like that. We have a guest with us today, and we are so excited about our guest. Her name is Ashley Hampton, and we're going to let Ashley introduce herself because, you know, we believe that people can tell you more about them than we can. So,
I love that.
Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Ashley Hampton. I am a therapist turned group practice owner turned nonprofit founder, and now I run that with my wife, and I have a toddler. Those are how I keep my days full.
I get it
most of the day.
I understand.
Yeah. That's me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your practice and who you see and why you see.
Yeah. So I am from Nashville, and I had started out kind of having a private practice, and I worked in agencies alongside, as many of us
that's our journey.
Starting out, and during COVID, I just started getting overwhelmed with clients, and so my wife and I came together and decided to create Hampton House. And our group practice is comprised of folks who all identify as either BIPOC or LGBTQIA+. So we see a variety of things at Hampton House, but typically we're going to see folks with trauma. We're going to see folks processing some religious trauma, religious dissonance, neurodivergence, ADHD.
Okay.
Do you see all ages, or tell me a little bit about
Yeah, we don't have anyone at the moment who specializes in itty bitties.
Okay.
But we do see folks of all. We actually just had someone who was 85 who came to our practice this weekend. So I'm very excited to hear how that went.
Yes.
So yes, definitely the wide scope, but not the baby babies yet.
Okay.
One day though, I would love to.
Oh, I love that.
I would.
If you can find somebody that will, like you said, specialize, because that's sometimes hard to find someone that will specialize in the littles. But we're seeing
it's important.
Yes.
And I feel like especially for our youth that we see, specifically the BIPOC youth and the LGBTQIA+, they need that space. So I'm always looking. Whenever they come, the right fit will come one day.
They will show up.
So are you and your wife at the practice? Wait a minute.
Yeah. We do
both are therapists?
Well, no, she is not a therapist.
She said,
those conversations at home are probably
No, she would never claim to be a therapist. She's not a therapist, but she runs, contact with the clients. She does all HR. She does all the bookkeeping.
Somebody you need that.
She runs the books. She does all the operations. So she's actually at the office right now. She's typically at the office more now than I am. So she kind of holds down the space.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Those conversations are two therapists just
talking through today. She actually said to me yesterday, I was telling her about my day, and she said, I've never met someone who wants to talk as much as you. I said, thanks.
I don't know.
I was like, thanks. Compliment. She was like, you just like talking that much. And I was like, yes.
I get paid to do it.
Yeah, I do. And I used to get it, all the way through college. I feel like my teachers were like, stop talking, Ashley. Like, they loved me and my spirit.
Are you the one that they would say, Ashley's a great child, but she likes to socialize with her.
From kindergarten to college, I struggled with talking.
Hey, and now look at you.
And now look at me. I get to talk to people.
You get to talk to people.
All
you get paid to do that.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit why you chose the specific populations that you're working with.
So I feel like I didn't choose the population. I feel like they kind of chose me. I think that folks started calling me and they would say, oh, I wanted a woman of color or something like that. or queer woman of color. And I was like, queer? And then that's a whole other story. You saw something in me I didn't quite see for myself. Thank you. I appreciate that, y'all. And so I feel like really it was people seeking out representation.
Okay.
And that gap of like, I want someone who understands my lived experience. So at least I don't have to explain that.
Okay.
Therapy is so hard. Like, I feel like having general common ground makes a huge difference.
It does.
And so when we started the group practice, we were opening it up to really all people, and we noticed that brown folks and queer folks were the people that were applying. And I thought, what if we just did this?
If you made that,
What if we just made a safe space where those clinicians are centered and safe? And so that's really what I'm super passionate about.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the nonprofit, because
So the Hampton House, is our business. And when we were on our having a baby journey, and I was pregnant and I was giving clients away, I see all different types of people, but I do a lot of trauma work, EMDR trained, things like that. And I was referring clients, to my team.
Okay.
And no other brown therapist at Hampton House had any advanced trauma training. And that really
Okay.
so I'm like, okay, so we're creating a space and we're saying this is for you, and that doesn't feel good enough. How am I supporting you? How am I amplifying you? How am I empowering you to do your best work and serve our community? And so I came home and I was like, Beth, I think we need to become a nonprofit so that we can get funding for clinicians.
So you can help with the cost.
Yes, and Beth said, no, we're not turning our business into a nonprofit.
We have a for-profit and a nonprofit. We can do both.
Yeah, but not at the same time, and not right now, and no. And then 2 months later, she was like, you know what, I think we need to start a nonprofit. And I was like, you are right, we do. And
You
so
dropped the seed.
I dropped the seed. I've learned to just drop the seed and walk away. That is one of the greatest lessons I have learned in my life. And so that was really what kind of started us thinking about healing in the margins. And since then, it has kind of evolved into three things we do. We support clinicians, and we have monthly BIPOC and LGBTQIA plus cohort support. So we're meeting at our office, and they're doing community work, they're talking, they're processing, sharing space, which I think is so important. And this year, we're really excited. We're having the world's first Black female brain spotter is coming to Healing in the Margins in October. And she is going to be doing a brain spotting phase 1 training for Healing in the Margins. And so really, really excited. So we want to send folks through that training, and we want to create community. The second programming is our clients program, and that's pretty much we do a therapy fund. So anybody's clients can apply when the window opens for applications, and any BIPOC or LGBTQIA plus folk who's looking for therapy or already has a therapist and can no longer afford it can apply to that therapy fund, and they can go see any therapist that they're choosing. They can go see you, they can go see you, they could go see anybody, which is super important. And so we're starting to get clinicians from all over the community saying, oh, we got that check from Healing in the Margins. Who are y'all? What are you doing? And so that's a big part of it. Community groups, we're doing some BIPOC youth groups right now, which we're super passionate about. And I'm from Nashville, so I love being in the schools. And then the third thing that we do is we go out into the community and train on how do we make safe spaces for BIPOC and queer folks. Group practices, schools, all of the things. So
that's amazing work.
It's really excited. It's
so needed.
So needed. And I think it is super energizing and very exciting.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know you did all that. I knew you did a lot of things, but
I think we need to do better at naming what we're doing.
Because I think a lot of times we get so focused on what we're doing that we forget to share with the masses and the community of what we're doing, so that other people can know. Yes.
We'll be having a event in May called the Healer Give Back. I'll make sure y'all have all of the information.
Yes, please.
But I think that's really what we're trying to do, is build up our community right now, because it is so needed, and it's very simple. And if you talk to anybody, everyone's like, oh yeah, we need that.
Yes.
But it's like, how do we amplify it and build it so that we can meet all of the needs that we have?
Yeah, I get that. So you talk a little about this safe space, this safe community, this Safe.
Safe.
And so I would love for you to explain to those listening, when you're saying safe, what do you mean by that?
So everybody's definition of safety, I think, looks very different.
Mm-hmm.
My definition of safety is I can show up and feel at home in myself and with the people that I'm speaking with or sharing space with.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, safety very much feels like a feeling of comfort, ease, with myself and with the folks that I share space with. I want people to show up authentically. I want them to show up as themselves, with openness and curiosity, but also authenticity is like my number one thing, and integrity. So to me, that's what safety is.
Yeah.
It's a space where people can just show up.
I think that's important for us to define, because oftentimes I have to say like safe, and then I have to go tell my clients like, let me just, what I mean when I say safe means
what that
this.
means,
But
yeah.
when you hear me say safe, what comes
What
up
are you
for
hearing?
you?
Yeah.
And one of the other things is how we have therapists who listen to Brown Girl Banter. How can they create a safe space for queer or BIPOC clients that are coming in, who have maybe never even experienced safety before, or
Right.
doesn't know what safety even means for them? So how can we encourage them or help them get an understanding of how they can create that space?
I think that what you just said is so true. When we haven't been experienced or exposed to safety, when we find it, it actually feels unsafe. And so it's different, right? And so I think it's important to ask folks what makes them feel safe. I'm not going to assume that what makes me feel safe is what's going to make you feel safe. So I think a very basic conversation of, this is who I am, this is the way I move, how do you move, what would make you feel safe? And then having a conversation from there. I don't see a lot of people asking folks what they need. I don't see us really getting curious about, what does our team need? What does this therapist need? What does this client need? Like taking away our assumptions and truly just asking and saying. And I think it's a modeling thing too. It's like, am I modeling that I'm going to name my needs? And am I naming my boundaries? And am I like walking when I'm not getting those? So I think it's a very complex thing, but I think it can be simple too.
Yeah. And it goes back to what you said about authenticity. If you create a space where a person can feel authentic, then, like you said, they have to walk away because their needs or their wants are not being met. They're being authentic to themselves, and they feel safe enough to do it.
Yeah.
And even in our profession, I don't think we're not taught how to ask a client what they need. We might say, what brings you in for today, but we, somewhere in the back of our mind, have our own agenda of what evening's going to look like for that client.
Right.
That's true. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know for y'all, but I know in my schooling, our humanity is to be left at the door.
Yes.
And I move the complete opposite of that. And that's off-putting to a lot of people, because I am going to lead with my humanness first.
Yes.
Because I think that if I can't show up as a human, then I don't know what I'm doing, right? I don't know how to move in that.
So, look, I love that. This is my kind of conversation. Yeah. So, how did you make the decision to move into that space that you would lead with your own humanity?
I think about this often. Believe it or not, as y'all were saying earlier, these are the things that I think about often.
Yeah.
I feel like my entire life, and this is why I believe in a higher power. For some people it's God, the divine, whatever. I don't care what you call it. I feel like my entire life was me being different, being othered, being too much, talking too much, showing. And I think my entire life, there's, to my opinion, two types of people in this world. One where that shuts them down and causes them to withdraw, and others who are just like, I don't care. And I feel like I'm the latter, and I feel like that has served me well. And I think that my entire life has been a shaping of, I'm going to move. This is how I move. I can't help it. This is the way I've always been. And so I could go to work and I could pretend to be different because it's more professional or whatever. Sometimes in group I'll say things, or my wife, my wife is I would say a recovering people pleaser or perfectionist. I'll say. Sometimes she'll say, Ashley, why did you say that? Or why did you do it like that? And I was like, I will not censor myself in front of people that I'm encouraging to be themselves. I just can't.
Yeah. Back to that modeling piece you said.
It's the modeling. But I think it's my personality, and I think I've had a lot of practice of just showing up this way, and either people like it or they don't.
So what would you tell other therapists out there that are having that struggle of like, I want to be myself, but that's like that schooling back in my, no, you don't show your forehand, or you just don't show up. What would you share with them?
Well, I think that I think I'm privileged in the fact that I can show up like this.
Because you have
I think I've created a space.
Okay.
And so I think for some people it's not safe to show up that way. And so I don't want to sit here and say that it is, because I think there is a very real danger and threat for some people to show up and just be this, be a human first with their client. So I do want to name that. I've been in practices where I couldn't do that. And so no way is that, but I think that self-reflection is huge. And I think that recognizing who taught us, why did they teach us?
Yeah.
Where did the things that we learned, who was it intended for?
That's huge.
I don't think that our founding fathers in therapy ever thought about you, me, or you.
No, not at all.
Sitting here having this conversation.
Not having this conversation. They didn't see past themselves.
No. And so that's why a lot of this I kind of take worth a grain of salt, to be completely honest, because I'm thinking about, I think that it's going to be us. It's going to be these kinds of conversations that actually shape the work for people doing it like us.
That look like us. That live like us.
That experience this life like us.
Yes.
And so I think there's grace in that. And I think surrounding yourself in communities where people created the space for you is so important.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about the, I don't want to say average because that's not a good word to use, but tell us a little bit about the clinical work that happens at Hampton House. Is it a lot of group? Is it a lot of individual? Is it, what's happening? Is it all of that?
Yeah, we do. We do. It's not all of that. It's all of that. We primarily do individual work. We do a lot of identity, who we are, as we're talking about. Like, this conversation is some of the sessions that we do. We find folks who are really wanting to cultivate and honor their identity, their lived experiences, even when they live in a space that sometimes doesn't support that. And so that's the work, like I think of, we do that really rich, reparative soul work. And I think that is what I love most about our team, is that our clients are going to see pieces of themselves in their therapist, and that is by design. When I get a therapist, I sit them down and I say, when you think about this work, who and what person would light you up? Because I don't feel that light so much as a clinician anymore. I've done this about 10 and a half years, and as a clinician, I'm burnt out. And I think, what a shame. How sad. How sad is it that brown, black, and queer clinicians are burning out? So I don't want that for my therapist at Hampton House. And that's what Healing in the Margins also, it's like, how do we support therapists? So what type of clients light you up? What experiences light you up? And then that's who I try to fill them up with.
Match them with,
That's what I do. I think I'm just like, this person is perfect for you. And I want my team to work with folks that there's that parallel processing happening, which I think is so reparative and beautiful. And that's when you leave a session feeling like, God, that was good.
Exactly.
I enjoyed my therapy session.
Like, we all joked about like working in agencies and how we started out. That's not the lived experience. That was not my lived experience. And I think, why not? It could have been. What a shame. Because there is someone for everyone, right?
It is. I agree with that.
And so it's the intentionality of it. And so we do lots of work. We do lots of trauma work. We do lots of individual. We do some groups right now. We're running an IFS group, which is really beautiful.
Awesome.
Healing in the Margins is doing their first ever group, which is a queer neurodivergent RPG, a role-playing group, like Dungeons and Dragons, but specifically for that community.
Yes.
And so it's just like finding the needs and filling it in with the clinicians, because that's going to light them up too.
Yes, because it's going to make them be like, oh yeah, that's why I do this work. I enjoy it.
Yes. And I wanted to really make sure you make that messaging to kind of understand what's happening there, because I think people have the, especially in the BIPOC community, who is starting to learn about mental wellness and mental health.
Who's stepping outside and coming
Yes.
like, okay, I can go to therapy. I can
Yes, juice will fix it, but you can also go to therapy and get some work in there as well. I think they think we just kind of sit and do this talk therapy. It's just this individual thing that's happening, and I don't need to sit with someone and talk to them about what I'm going through, because they're just so used to being isolated or told they were enough or something was wrong with them. And understanding that there are groups, there are people that you can connect with, there are, you know, like-minded human people who are coming to restore. Like, I think those words are so necessary for people to hear in the community, to understand, because it's not a one size fits all, and we know that, and so that's why we try to bring people in who show you diversity,
who's doing this work, like, so they can see it, because healing most definitely takes place in community, and so you have to build a community of like-minded people. That's why group therapy works well, because you get in there, and you know, Yala was on something when he was talking about universality and all those things. He was like, there's other people in here that's facing similar, so you can help each other heal.
Yeah, I think so. And I think too, that idea, I think we know that, like, historically though, that it wasn't safe for, like, we were test subjects, we were institutionalized, we still are institutionalized in many states
at a higher rate.
I think there is a very real fear around mental health care. And I think that unfortunately also the systems of, like, accessing therapists who actually want to know you as a human being and provide good who can afford it. It's so inaccessible. It's so inaccessible, and so I think that's also something that I think about a lot with Healing in the Margins too, and the therapy fund.
I'm telling you, girl, you're just touching on all of the necessary areas.
I mean,
we need that so much in the community,
though, and it's so sad. To me, it's like, how do we make mental health care accessible, but not at the cost of the clinician providing it?
Yes.
That part.
And that's really and truly what we're trying to do by having the therapy fund, by fundraising. It's like, how do we continue to support therapists, but they can support their clients, and then the clients go out into the community and support the community.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. It's just going to take time.
Yeah, it's a ripple.
It is a ripple
effect.
It is. And so,
and I'm here for the ripple.
Right.
Yes, us too. And I'm so glad to, like, I have just met Ashley. We are new to meeting each other, everyone. And so I think we're just learning. I'm learning so much about what you're doing in the community. And so I can share that information. Or knowing, like, hey, there's somebody who can maybe is a better fit for you in the community. And I don't have to see everybody. I'm okay with that today.
Do y'all feel like that's a common theme?
What?
Scarcity mindset?
In some people. I've learned. I have learned to gift. I gift to other therapists.
Always. I do too.
I do too.
I gift.
But I feel like
because when especially individuals that are, I'm finding individuals that are starting out in private practice, they feel like that they have to see any and everybody, and they have to hold on even when it's not a good fit. And I'm like, you don't have to. I said, show up for who you are. You will attract the people that you are called to serve. Because I believe the work we do is, we do service, but I believe it's at a higher level of a calling to serve. But your assignment is for specific people. So you don't have to be like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have to be out here like, give me, because I'm not gonna have enough. So it takes some like getting used to it or testing it out to see. Because I remember when I first started out, I was like, oh, I have to see. And then I was sitting there like, you know what, I don't really particularly care to see.
And I think that's that piece of like bringing our humanity into it. The idea that you have to work with everybody, even people that you don't like feel safe with, or I don't understand.
You won't create a safe space for.
Because I think about someone, I was talking with someone about the idea of like, should people who don't believe that, like, if people have an issue with the lifestyle of being queer, should they have to see queer clients? And my experience has been queer clients don't want to work with someone who one thinks of them as a lifestyle and two doesn't agree with it.
You say that.
So I'm like, why can't we just be honest about that? Because we're causing harm.
That's it.
But our profession, going back to how we were taught in school with these blanket statements. That's what, like, they'll make these statements, but they don't explain the statement really clearly. Like, it's like, okay, no, you don't have to see everybody. And then if like, well, what about if it's not in my competence? If it's not in your competence, then most definitely. But people don't see how deep that competence thing is. And like you said, doing more harm, not creating a safe space, because it's like, oh, I have to. No, it's enough people out there that want and that need to be in a mental health setting, that it's enough for us to see our people.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%.
I do too.
So Miss Ashley, is there a way that our Brown Girl Banter folks can find you on social media, website?
Yes.
Tell us where.
Yes. HamptonHouseCounseling.com, HealingInTheMargins.com, very simple. And then we also are fairly active on Instagram at Hampton House Counseling and at Healing in the Margins.
Amazing. You guys be sure to go to support whatever we can do as a community to support the work that you're doing. We are going to do that.
So I'll make sure to connect y'all more too.
Please do. Thank you so much for coming. We are so glad you were here today. We hope y'all enjoyed and learned something, and will go out and get the help that you need. We're always going to support you all going to get some therapy, talking with a therapist, finding a therapist that you connect with who sees the humanness in you and is about restoring and healing. I'm stealing all of that language, girl, all of that. So we look forward to seeing you all soon. Where can they find us, Dr. Dangerfield?
They can find us. Y'all know.
Here we go. This is all her test. This is her quiz, her pop quiz. Ashley.
On Instagram at I Am Brown Girl Banter.
Good job.
And on Facebook, Brown Girl, one word, space, banter.
And we're on YouTube, because you said Facebook.
Oh, I meant YouTube. That was it. Because, we had a whole thing, we still haven't figured that whole thing out about Facebook. It's YouTube. Find us on YouTube. At Brown Girl, one word, space, banter, because Facebook didn't love our handle.
It did not. So, and where can they find you, Dr. Dangerfield?
They can find me on Instagram at I Am Dr. Dangerfield.
And you can find me at I Am Dr. Patience. Thank you all so much. Y'all take care. Bye. Brown Girl Banter.